And floor is yours, Ilya.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Willy, for your kind introduction. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. And yeah, so today we'll go through animating BPMN. And let me just start by sharing the slides. So here.
Just a minute. I
Sure, please.
need to probably make. Oh, you are. I'll make you a co-host if that doesn't matter. But okay, so we can see the slides. Fine. And I'll keep my eye on the chat. So if you have any questions, you can type them also in the chat.
Yeah, please, that will be fine. Yeah. Yes, indeed. If you have any questions at any moment in the presentation, glad to answer them. Yes. So yeah, indeed. So let me start the lecture then. So it's animating BPMN, and so briefly, the presentation aim is to give you a brief introduction to how to use animations and token animations in particular for BPMN process models. And Willy already shared with me that you are already have been introduced to some of the process models, some of the BPMN concepts. Yes, and we will go through some of the visualization techniques, and this is not only useful for the eye tracking experiments and like to some of you, but it's also useful for those who intend to use process models professionally in your future career, because it's really much more useful for your validation of your comprehension in how you use process models, what kind of process models you create. So it's really helpful to test and validate your understanding, but also the quality of the models that you may create or you may read from someone who has created for you, right? So we will focus only on the basic elements. So we will not go to all of the Willy's BPMN elements, but some of them. And if you're interested, there's actually a free software online, so you can also play with it yourself. But I'll get to it later, like when we get to the practice at the end. Yes, and so there will be some practice on some of the models, really simple ones, but so you can understand the overall gist, right, of the tokens. So briefly about me, like really briefly, I have finished my PhD in business economics at KU Leuven in Belgium, and that was my topic. What is the psychology and comprehension of process models, right? And in particular, animations. And then I'm currently doing a postdoc at University of Namur in Belgium. Basically, in like one of the projects is one of those, but also in the artificial intelligence and business process modeling and machine learning. And let's start immediately to the tokens. So a useful metaphor, so how you can perceive it. So let's imagine that you need to navigate through Uvascular, right? So I think that many of you do not live in Uvascular, right? So, but some of you, maybe if you have to go through from downtown to Agora campus, right? So you may open, let's say, Google GPS or whatever navigator that you use. And then you need to make a certain path from, let's say, from like as you return from campus to downtown, you make a path right on this GPS. And it shows you different ways how you can go from Agora to the city center. And then as you walk, you probably can notice that you have a certain dot on this GPS navigator, right? And so as you walk, it actively tracks your active position at any of these, on your path from Agora campus to downtown, right? So it's added visualization, but you probably know what I'm talking about, right? So this type of kind of dot that represents your position. So why this metaphor? So like in order to understand tokens, first you need to consider like GPS map. Imagine it is the process model. A route or a process instance, that's the same as the path from campus to downtown. So from the process model, you have from the start until the very end. And then the GPS tracker itself and the active position is kind of similar. It's kind of shows your current state on your path from start to finish. And for business processes, it's the same. And let's get to some of the official definitions. Okay, so this is the token. So a process model, it represents a set of activities and events that will be executed according to the same blueprint. So it can be thought of as a tree of possible states of a given process. So you can go from start until the end by many routes, potentially, usually in the real business process. Similar, like you have different routes from going to Agora campus to the city center. And maybe sometimes you can even take the bus, maybe the car, maybe you want to drive on the bicycle. There's multiple possible ways how you can go from the start until the end, to your point. So this is represented by the process model. Now, if we are also trying to make it a bit more realistic, so another example, think of a pizza making. To make a pizza, you need to go through several steps, right? So maybe for one client, you want to make a pepperoni pizza, right? And so for another, you want to make a pizza with I don't know, like only quatre fromage, four cheeses, right? So you want to make these different sets of pizzas that you want to make. And process model represents all of those possible states of activities that you need to perform to either make 4-cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza. And so a process instance, it represents a single occurrence of a process. In other words, within this, all the possible ways that you can go within the business process, you decide that for this particular client, you make a pepperoni pizza, right? And so this is a process instance. It is very specific, it is very concrete. So that's a very specific set of events. So maybe for pepperoni, you want to add extra elements like cola, right? And so like you have a specific order for a specific person. You can insert this in a information system as sale number 3. Sorry, this automatically translates. So it automatic. Yes. So it's something that you can record in the database, for instance. And so pepperoni with cola, and it's very specific pepperoni, very specific cola. And that's a process instance. But the process model is abstract set of all possible ways in which you can execute a process. With cola, without cola, with pepperoni, without pepperoni, for instance, right? And the start event, it represents the trigger of such a process, which is very concrete and specific. And the process token at any given time, it represents the state in which the process instance is being executed. In other words, so it's a snapshot of a process at a given moment. So imagine like you have a camera, right? And you'd want to take a picture, and the token, like for instance, you pose a token, and then you see at which place this token is located. It represents like this specific process instance is at this particular stage. But I'll try to explain this in the next slide. So and a token is a small circle that is by a specific color, And of course, tokens can be split into partial tokens, which basically means that a token is not per se one person, right? So it's not like or one pizza. So like if you represent like a process instance as a token, it does not mean that the token dot is the pizza flowing. It's more like to show you like within these all possible states of events, a specific token, if you pause it, at that moment you have like a very concrete, let's say, state of the process. But I will try to show this. It's a bit more abstract, so I'm trying to ground it, like how it looks like. So again, so here you have a process model, and it's a tree of possible events and activities. So all the possible ways that you can make a pizza. So that's a process model. Then you have a process instance. So in a process instance, imagine it's almost as if the person, and you see the person here, it's making a very specific, concrete pizza. And that's first token going, right? So it's almost like a video or dynamic state of events. And when I was talking about the snapshot of a token at a specific place, if you pause make a pause of this token, like after the first task of taking the bread to put the pepperoni on, so after this first step, you click pause, and like the person is at the current stage only finished with the bread of making the pizza. And the second step would be, for instance, putting the pepperoni on. But the first step, you pause on it, and the person is with the bread for a specific case, right? So that's a snapshot of a state of a process at a particular moment. And of course, if you have any questions, I mean, like Willy, like if there's some questions, because like at this moment, it's quite, it can be a bit too abstract, and that I absolutely realize. But William, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
No. Is there any questions? Because it's a bit tricky to see for me.
No questions currently.
No. Okay. Okay. But if you have questions, of course, at the end there's also questions and answers for this moment. Yeah. It can be a bit tricky to understand at first, but once you understand all the rest, you can easily read all of the other applications. But anyways, so let's continue with how does this token animation, how does it look like for basic elements, XOR, and an inclusive gateway. So those are the three gateways. So XOR gateway, it's a diverging exclusive gateway, and it creates like you can have several paths outgoing from the XOR gateway, but only one is activated, right? And so the token represents it like this. I'm not sure, like, do you see it smoothly, or is it lagging a bit on my side? William?
It's skipping a little, but there's enough
Yeah.
frames that it can be followed, yes.
Yeah. So it's basically my laptop is lagging. But anyway, so I'll show you. Okay, so in here, yes. Yeah. I try. But anyway, so the token is going through the XOR condition, and it either goes up or it goes below, down through this process. And maybe you can even, yes. So here it's not going to lag. So in here, I'm going to show to you already in here. So what's happening in here is you have XOR gateway, and you have up or down, right? And then you have a merging. No, you don't have a merging, but anyway, you can have a merging gateway or like this. And then you have two incoming arrows, right? And so XOR gateway, the token can either go up or down. So in the first case, in the first instance, it goes up and then it finishes. In the second one, it goes below. No? Billy, did you see the modeler now? Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's XOR gateway. It basically creates only one token to one only path, but you can have multiple paths. Yes, and the second one is the parallel AND gateway. So it is used to create two or more parallel flows, but all the paths that are outgoing, all of them will be activated. So hope I think it's working better now. Yeah. So now you see the two tokens, they go through all the paths. But here's the thing. So at the merging parallel AND gateway, you have a token that is waiting for the other from the upper path. And yeah, it's not working too well, but let me try like this. So here, instead of XOR gateway, you have parallel gateway. And this is also a parallel gateway. And you have merging. By the way, this is the tool that we are going to practice also at the end, so you can also see it for yourself a bit. But it's more or less super easy, like how to operate, but I'll also show you, and maybe for your process modeling assignment or something, you can also use this. It's really helpful in my opinion. It's helping you to clarify many things on how the model is supposed to work. But anyway, so here you have a parallel gateway. So it merges, all the paths will be activated. But then the token will and it must, by BPMN specification, it must wait at the end for all paths to receive the token. If you don't wait, if you don't send this token, it will never be executed. And in fact, there's also an error in there, but I'll show it later. So if you do not have the token from all the paths, it's going to be an error. So I look, then it merges, and then it can continue, right? So you must always ensure that all of those places will be merged, because if they will not be, it basically means that you have modeled incorrectly. And that's one of the useful ways to test your model, is by using parallel tokens to test parallel gateways, right? So for more complex models, you understand why. Like that's for now, it's super simple. But imagine you have 15 nodes, and then you need to validate it. It's either you are super genius, you're gonna see, okay, like you're like calculating all the possible routes, or you just use tokens, and it really helps you how to validate that. For me, I always prefer like to just token validate, because it's much more simpler. You just use it, especially as a novice modeler, right? It can be especially challenging, but after a while, maybe you can decide. Right? But for a novice, I highly recommend, because it's giving you the, let's say, it's kind of like ChatGPT. It helps you to understand the semantics of behavior of BPMN elements. Okay. So that's yes. And one more thing, they all start at the same time. And what this means basically is that in token, it's not so easily visible, because you have different speed for these tokens moving. So now, for instance, like this, you see, like to this, let's say, call it B, this A. So to task B is going to arrive, the token is going to arrive earlier than to task A. You see, so it's already at the task B, but the task A is still going. Now that's a limitation of token simulation. It does not mean that like task B starts earlier than task A. No. It means that after the split of parallel gateway, all of the tasks, they start at the same time, like this. So right, so they do not wait for it. The only thing why you see this arriving later, and I can even do it like this, so it's more visible. So goes. It already arrived to B, but to A it's still going. And that's only because it's a visualization, let's say, limitation. Both task A and B activate at the same time. And unfortunately, that's the limitation of visualization. But just so you're not confused. But they can finish at different times, of course. And once they finish, they go. Let's just say, in other words, like the length of the sequence flow arrow, it does not mean like the length of task execution. So you ignore the length of this time travel, like in this, like through the sequence flow. So the path it takes to go from here to here is basically 0 seconds. So it's instantaneous, right? So from here to here, 0 seconds. So it's like this, and the path is only visualized like as a flow. So the token, the color, it goes here, 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 here. It's ignore. It does not mean that the actual task takes that long time, right? So just to clarify. Yes, and the way that you merge the gateways, and that's not by itself explicit on static model, but if you show by tokens, the difference is quite visible. So in here, the token will split. Yeah, it's like, let me show like in here. So, I'll show like this. So first, and yeah, here. And so here I will show to you that depends on how you merge, either by parallel or exclusive gateway, you will have different number of tokens at task C. So in the case of parallel gateway, you'll actually have only one execution of task C. But if you do not merge it, you're actually not obliged to merge it. And so what you will have two executions of task C. And this is not an error per se, but it can be an error. Like, for instance, if you have misclicked or made an error, and instead of parallel, you have XOR gateway, it actually like you can execute, you can model the execution of a task like twice. Like you were supposed to send only one email, but instead you send two emails, and that can or cannot be an error, like an error depending on if you wanted to model it or not, right? So that's you can also see this by the tokens, and I guess it's not so easily let's say it's not so explicit, like if you do not use the tokens, so it's not so visible, but that's why you need to have merging gateways, like, and then you need to see. Like if you wanted to model this task C to be executed twice or only once. Yes, and the difference is XOR does not merge and AND gateway must merge. And then finally, the inclusive gateway, inclusive OR gateway. So it is used to create, well, it's in here. It says well, so 2 or more. I mean, like inclusive gateway needs to have 2 or more outgoing paths if it's diverging. If it's converging, yes, 2 or more. But basically, you can activate it. And I think this one is easier actually to just to show than show like this. So now we are going to make a inclusive gateway. And here you have inclusive gateway. You have a certain task. And then you have again inclusive gateway merging. In here you have another task. You have exclusive gateway. And then it's like this. And so for inclusive gateway, and let me just zoom in a bit. So for inclusive gateway, you can select at least one, but you cannot select all of the paths. So that's the advantage. You can kind of decide because it's much more easier, and like instead of multiple XOR and AND gateways, you just use one inclusive gateway. And I think that's the main advantage also for your understanding for like what is inclusive gateway, because without tokens, I think it's very difficult to understand the meaning. Why do you need inclusive gateway? So the meaning is such that you can actually decide like how many paths do you want to activate. And so that's the advantage of it. So let's imagine like you want to activate all the paths. You're activating it, right? So both paths are activated. And so the inclusive gateway will wait, kind of like AND gateway. It will wait for all the tokens if there are tokens, right? So that's a slight difference. If you do not have tokens, it will not wait. But in this case, you have a token from the below path, so it will wait. And then it merges, and there you have it. And just to illustrate what I just mentioned, so imagine you do not have 2 tokens, you only have 1 token. So it goes like typical. So first, it does not go below because you select it by clicking on this button. And then here, it will not wait, right? So it just keeps. The alternative is, of course, if you have 2 of those, and then it will wait. And it is such that it is kind of like smart, let's just say it, in a way that it knows if the token goes from another path. So look, here, it arrives here and it waits because it is smart. Like it's waiting for the token from the below path. And then it goes there. And just to make it a little bit more complicated, right? So like once it knows that the token is not coming there, right? So it's waiting, but now it sees that the token passes, and so it knows that the token is not going to go to merge, and then it decides to go, right? So in that way, it's kind of smart. So like why you need this? You need this to model certain scenarios, which is like instead of using 6 gateways, imagine you use only 2 gateways. So it's just like easier to model via 1 gateway rather than by multiple of those. So just easier to read for the future in general. And there's also actually certain semantics which are I don't even know if like you can model by XOR and AND gateway. But that's quite useful gateway in general. So if you're a student, and I know this from practice, it can be really difficult for students to understand this behavior unless they see like through the visualization. And also if you want to test like a large model and you have several elements which are even more complex than this inclusive gateway, of course, by using tokens, by using pause, right? So you can pause like in here. So in the upper left corner. You can test, validate, you can speed, slow up, slow down, and of course you can use this functionality to also test your models. Yes. So, and I think the slides are shared with you, right? So, or if not, they will be shared, right? So, and then you can also go through this a second time. And also the video recording will be available. Right. But we will practice with this a little bit at the end, so that this may be more clear to you. Yes, so that's the text. What was basically what I explained with you, that the gateway, it is smart, it waits for merging, and it can be selected from one or multiple paths to activate. Yes, and now I was planning for a practice session, because I think that is much more valuable for you to practice. But I guess, like, do you have any questions at this moment, like about theory, like about the behavior of the tokens, or if how the tokens should be interpreted, and how do they animate one or several gateways? Do you have any questions, please? Really, I'm not seeing the chat. It's very difficult for me to see.
No questions in the chat. Everything seems to be clear.
Maybe Willy, you can ask in students' names. Let's say okay. There's one question. Yeah, so Jarko, you're absolutely right. It's the theory. I guess it's kind of self-explanatory. So that's also the power of tokens, because they are kind of like obvious how they work. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But yeah, but still, how to put it? You like. Indeed, you also need to practice it. But my advice would be, like, once you practice, really try to focus on that behavior, because like there's certain scenarios where you may how to say, misunderstand, how the tokens behave. So it may seem to you it's like clear, okay, like it's token, like it's going like from here to here, and like here's a path. But along this path, there may be certain let's say, how to say, underwater stones. I don't know how you call it in Finnish, but basically where there's an error and you did not expect this error, or like there's a certain behavior that you did not notice, but it was quite critical. Like in the case of this inclusive gateway. So when it's like even here, like here, I'll just to show it again. Here. So, like, if this like was not explained, like, or maybe for some other elements, so maybe you would have missed this like ability of inclusive gateway, either to wait for the token or not to wait for the token. So in here it does not wait, and in here it waits and does not wait. So just for your future, right? So that's in general. I think, like, if you also use ChatGPT to explain the behavior, and then you use tokens, the only thing I wanted to say is that do not fall for the immediate illusion that, okay, like the token shows, and if the token shows, then I don't need to think, right? So that's the only maybe recommendation, generally. Yes. But anyway, so of course we will also have a certain practice. Yes. Thank you, Jarko, for your question. Yeah. So Vilja, maybe you have a certain understanding of students. Maybe I explained in such a way that maybe you notice something that students would like to understand. Because I understand this is also a Finnish culture in which it's going to be super difficult to ask any question, to make someone to ask any question, especially over Zoom.
That is true. We Finns don't like to speak, at least publicly. But I think everything is clear, and as the lecture will be available in a recorded format, the students can come up with the questions later on also, and
yeah.
So far so good.
Okay. Okay, then, just really, can you remind me, do we have a break or do we do not have a break? It's like full 1.5 hours.
Yes, we don't usually have breaks.
Okay, good. Then for the second half, let's go for practice session. So that's maybe going also to clarify some of the issues for you. So for modeling this, of course, you have several modeling tools. And I think in this course, and correct me, Villi, if I'm wrong, but I think you use Camunda, right, for modeling?
Yes, that's at least a recommendation. It's good tool and freely usable. At least to some level.
Yeah, and I totally agree. So that's very useful. It's a community of, well, let's say almost like open source development. So for some of the features that they develop, and also in the research community and in the practice community, and it's also free, right? It's super accessible. So that's only this link that is necessary. And here I may have a question. But okay, let me just finish with the modeling tools. Yeah. So you have indeed several options. For me, I always use Camunda Modeler. And the reason is primarily because they have tokens to simulate, to visualize. And even if I'm not using the token simulator, it's kind of like switchable on and off, right? So I personally, for my work, for my research work, right? So that was quite, let's say, useful and indeed easy to use. Yes. Thank you, Vin. Thank you for sharing the link. There's like in the chat the link. But yeah, indeed, you have also other vendors such as Signavio or Bisagio. So, but I'm not really using those because the question here, what can be the question? Maybe just like in general for the theory. So the question can be like, if you're a single modeler, of course, you do not need like data management. You do not need to share the process models with other like stakeholders or model readers. But if you're inside a large enterprise, of course, you are not going to be sharing this on like some folder like on the desktop, right? So you will need to share this and manage these models efficiently. And so for this reason, you can use like Visual Paradigm, Signavio, and Camunda even. They also have like certain enterprise software packages. But if you're a student and if you have to perform some student modeling assignment, you don't need to be concerned with this. But just so you know, right? So like once you create these models, they take a lot of time to model, to create, and then also to maintain those models. And of course, for this, you almost need like a not almost like, but in fact, you need a specially dedicated software. Well, I don't know, like SAP kind of like, right? So to you have customer relationship management platform, you have supply chain management platform, you have accounting system for people to receive their salaries, for instance, and to manage the pay slips. But you also have process modeling kind of managing software for larger enterprises because you will have like maybe thousands of models and they will be like very large. And for this reason, you need to use this this so-called computer-assisted software engineering tools, but it's a specific type for process modeling. But anyway, so for now, just like that's for your information, as they say. But for now, we focus on Camunda modeler and token especially. So Vilje shared with you the link in chat. So you can you can actually go to this link, and it should work on any browser. So try to open this link now, because we will have a little bit of practice with some of the models, right? So, like, do you have any problems opening the link? Did it work for everyone? If not, please write in chat. If yes, I will continue. So the link, yes, yes. The link, the one that Vilja sent the chat. I'm just gonna duplicate it. Yes, let me just open it myself. Yeah. So if you click on this link, it should be that you go to this link, and you should open this basic model. And we are not concerned with this basic model, but that's basically how you open it. So it's Camunda modeler. On the left side, you have typical modeling elements. And I have a question for you, Vilja. Did you already introduce like Camunda modeler to the students? Like, how far do I have to explain it?
Not by me, but I hope that at least some of the course participants have familiarized it already.
Okay.
But you can quickly tell the basics as you go.
Yeah, okay.
And I also want to mention that even though we shared only this one link, the environment itself is not shared. So if you click it open and do something there, it's not visible to others, right? Is that so?
Well, I mean, like, your question, Willy, is like, if I click on this link, I go to this website. Do you see the screen that's now the model, Camunda?
Yeah, but I mean, as I click the
I
same link and
yeah,
it opens for me the same process model, but if I change it,
no.
you don't see it. So it's your private environment what is now open.
Yes. Yes, that's precisely right. Yeah. So what you see now, it's only for your environment. It's not common, right? So it's only for you. So I don't see, or, well, I mean, like, unless GitHub or something. I mean, like, but in principle, that's on your browser, your environment, right?
Yeah,
Of course,
so
you can also.
Yeah, but right now you can freely try it out and mess around, and we won't be judging you for that.
No. Okay. Yes. So yeah, the basics. So, and I also share by the PowerPoint. So some of those instructions, let me just quickly open it. So in the PowerPoint, that's basically some of the main features. So in the upper left corner, you have token simulator. On the left, you have the menu, like you select certain elements to drag and drop, right? So it's quite easy and intuitive. In the bottom left, you have download diagram. I'm just going to show it again. Yeah. And in the right, you have, like, if you click on any task, let's say you open a certain window, but it's not really important now. But just so you know, it's not good. Yeah. Okay. Here. But it's not really important. I mean, like, but in this way, you can see certain extra attributes or values for different tasks inside this model. But we are not gonna really be needing this. I'm just giving you some info what's in there. For reasons and purposes of this, let's say, practice, we do not even need to model anything, right? So for now, you just know that, like, in there's elements, you can drag and drop them, you can connect those elements, right? So here you go. So, but I guess, like, in Vilja's course later, you will have certain practice or something, or I may be mistaken, I don't know. Do you have, Vilja, some practice later in this course?
Yes, there will be plenty of modeling exercises.
Yes. So, yeah. And then I guess Willy can explain to you much more in detail, much better. And well, for now, then, what's more interesting for me is in the upper left corner, you have this token simulation. And if you drag your mouse over it, the mouse cursor, it will show in green. And if you click on it, it will go to the simulation mode. So before it, if you unclick it, it's in the drag and drop modeling. So in here you can click and then you can make certain diagram. But then if you want to test it, you go in there. Yes. And so in here, what's interesting and what's necessary to know, like below the token simulation, you have a play button, but for play button to work, you need to over each and every start event, you have a play button, and you can highlight it in green. Well, highlight. You can drag your mouse cursor over it, like for instance over the basic model. And just by the way, if some and or any of you have removed the model, or if you want to restart it, if you go to the same link a second time, or if you reload the page, you will have the same model, by the way. So just so you know, like if you, but this model it's not necessary, and you can even delete it. So you select all the elements, and then you just delete them. But for now, I'm just going to show again token simulation. So at every start event, you should have this green button, and if you click on it, it will like activate the process instance. A very specific person goes through or a business activity, like for instance, a very specific person comes to the ATM and inserts the card, and then he wants to do a very specific sequence of steps, right? But you see this within the broader process model. So this represents everything that can happen within this process, but the token, it's only one very specific person who typically, or business case, who is interested only is in some part of this process. And so then, like after you click the play button on the start event, the process is activated. And just by the way, you also see this log data. So to open it, it's in the upper left corner where you have this third button. So you click on it, and you should have the simulation log appearing in the right corner, which is basically like the process has been started. Yeah, so the process is started in general, and the process is started by triggering the ATM transaction needed. And then the person inserts the card to the ATM. And then it will continue on and on and on. But at this pause button, like you pause it, and the person has just inserted the card, and then the next step will be select interaction. So here, it should be updated. It should be updated. I don't know. Okay, so it's only shown here after the process is executed. So for instance, the person has selected cash withdrawal. Boom. Now I can show the person. And here you can see the state of events. And like if you press the pause button, you will be able to stop or play. You see, so like it's up left corner. At any given moment, as you remember, what I started like what was quite abstract and challenging, I think, at the start was that you can pause the process and see in what state of the moment at any given state the process instance is. So in this current state, the person has just selected the amount, and then the ATM will do its own process. So like once you play the pause button, the person has just selected the amount, but the ATM did not yet calculate how much money to give, etc. So it's that's why you need the pause button and what it represents. And so okay, you have simulation log, you have play or pause button. Here in the upper left corner, you can click or hide the simulation log. Sometimes it can help to you. And on the bottom, you have the speed. So 3 speeds. So slow, medium, normal, and fast. So like if you click on the slow one, it's going to be super slow. If you click on the fast one, it's going to be super fast, obviously. So it's like so it goes like boom, 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 like so it's super fast. And the normal one, it's kind of like for me, like personally, I think it's if I, in other words, if I want to test the model and really understand my comprehension, I would either go for the slow or medium. For the fast one, it's for especially large models, like if you have to go from the start almost until the end, then you kind of, yes. So you just kind of start this, and then you make the token go through the end, and then you stop, and then you change the speed, right? So that's how I personally do it.
One quick question.
Yes.
That cash withdrawal in the middle, it's a sub-process, isn't it?
Yes, it is a sub-process.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if we have used that kind of modeling technique so far, but I'll explain quickly in Finnish. So, eli tuossa keskellä tuo rahannosto on siis aliprosessi, palikka tämä cash withdrawal, joka on sitten avattu, eli jonne on piirretty sitten tämän prosessin aliprosessi. Ja hän käyttäytyy niin, että sitten kun on käyttäjä tehnyt tuon select amountin, mikä vie siihen aliprosessiin, niin siellä sitten aliprosessi käynnistyy tuosta cash amount selectedistä. Ja sitten kun se on päästy loppuun, niin sitten jatketaan sitä niin kuin pääprosessikulkua. Nyt ihan näppärä mallinnustekniikka, mutta ajattelin, jos joku ihmettelee, että mikä pulikka siellä keskellä on, niin se on aliprosessi. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, William. So yeah, probably as video has explained, so sub-process is basically the larger process that includes breakdown of several steps within this sub-process. And yeah, I mean, like especially it's useful for like this boundary events that can be associated with the sub-process, but that is not the point neither for this lecture, so you don't have to remember, like you have to remember eventually maybe, but not for this. So it's just to maybe even stress the point and the argument that with the tokens, again, my favorite tokens, it allows you to really validate your understanding, to improve your understanding, to improve your models, because you know like where your understanding is wrong, right? So and for sub-processes, then you also have a special behavior like timer events, errors. Okay, like for instance, if you click error, it's going to abort the process. So. But that's not the point for now. So for now, I guess like that, this all one more feature. Bottom left corner, you have download diagram. But you can also, if you click Control S, does it? Wait. Yes. So if you click Control S, it will actually save for you the BPMN diagram. Yes. Yeah. So Control S, and then it saves for you the diagram.bpmn. in the download folder. And of course, if you want to reset the token simulation, you in the left high corner, you have reset like these two arrows. So you click on those and you just reset it altogether. Just like one more thing to highlight, especially if you drag over the task, you have this in the upper left corner, the pause button. So that's how the token arrives and it waits. And then you can click on it again and it will go to the next one. And if you don't want, you need this to think what kind of condition you want to select. So for instance, imagine, so you do not have these pause buttons. So you just click it, boom, 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 and you want it to change this gateway. And it's too fast. So for this reason, you can click it and such that once the token arrives, no matter what speed, it will pause there. And then you can also click on this button just above the gateway that is interactable. So not all gateways are interactable, of course, because parallel gateway, it does not wait for it does not need the condition. So, but if you click on it, you can actually select which direction will the token go, right? Yes. So, I mean, and I think that's all the functionality at this moment. And of course, if you want to turn off the token simulation, you just click in the upper left corner, and of course, you can continue modeling as you validate with tokens. So for me, I like between static, between Camunda without tokens and with the tokens, I don't see any reasons why not to use this version, because with this version it's there, it does not concern you. But if you need at any moment, you click on there, you test your model, and then you continue modeling as you go, right? And then of course, if you need to save some versions, you Control S, or in the below left corner, download, and then the diagram saves for you. And that's basic things about the tokens, right? So in the Camunda and how to work with the tokens. So of course, in the PowerPoint presentation, you have this slide as well to remind you of these features. Yes, and do you have any questions at this moment? So we have gone through the theory of tokens, through some of the gateways, through Camunda as a simulator for tokens. And also I gave you a brief demo about how to use these tokens. Now, do you have any questions for this? Just if you have some questions, you can click.
It seems all is clear still.
No. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Jarko proposed a good question. Let's clarify. So to participate, what I'm generally giving you now, as long as you understand a good chunk of what I say to you now, you're good, right? So maybe if you misunderstand one or 2 points, what about inclusive gateway? What you need to understand: what is token, how to work with the Camunda simulator. You don't need to understand all the symbols. It's not a test on your comprehension, right? It's more like a test on how well do you interact with Camunda. And then, of course, we do eye tracking recording, and then we do certain hypotheses about it. So the most important thing is that you can give the correct answer on the model, and here's maybe the practice. So in the practice, maybe not this type of model, but At the end, there will be one model that it will show to you. So as long as you can understand that other model by using tokens, right? So if you know how to use token simulator, how to pose, like if you can give the correct answer by using the tokens, let's say. So that is the basic, question. But I think Yarko, so that's a good question. Let us do practice, right? And if you still have the question, because like through practice, I think you should understand what would be, what would you need to know, what would be it more or less about, right? So after this practice, which will be like 20 minutes something. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Yarko. Yes.
Quick comment in Finnish. Eli siis siinä se ei ole sellainen testi tai koe, että siinä tosiaan niin kuin pitäisi vastata vaikeisiin kysymyksiin BPMN koskien, vaan niin kuin nimenomaan kiinnostuneita ollaan siitä, että miten tällaiset token-animaatiot sitten niin kuin auttaa tai hankaloittaa sitä mallin ymmärtämistä ja sitten miten sitä katsellaan ja seurataan ja niin poispäin. Eli sitten tämmöiset tenttityyppiset BPMN-kysymykset säästetään sinne kurssin lopputenttiin. Et siitä ei osaamisesta ei sikäli tarvitse huolehtia tähän tutkimukseen osallistumisen vaiheessa.
Yes,
That's it. You can move on.
Okay. Thank you, William. Thank you. And for now, I have a question. So I have now, like if you all can open come on the modeler, right? So I have prepared for you 4 models. And so for this, I guess I need to somehow share it. Wait. Vilja, can you forward it somehow? I don't know, like maybe a bit difficult, no? At this stage.
Yes, I will share it in Moodle.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't have those files. Can you email?
Okay, I will send to you just now in email. So for questions or BPMN models. So I'll share it with you.
Yes, thank you. 4 files.
And so, like for this reason, like tell me, Vilja, when you submit it. For now, like, I will explain the practice itself.
Yes, and while you do so, the audience could open the courses Moodle site, so you will soon find these files there.
Yeah.
In the folder called BPMN demo. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. So please go to, as Vilja says, to Moodle, to the place where he shares, and in parallel, please open this link. So for token simulation. So I'm just gonna share it once more. I'll try. Yeah. So go to this link, and once you click on it, it should open for you this this model that we have just seen about, like the cash withdrawal process, right? So that's what you see in the first place. Even better like this. The one I have sent to you in chat. So you go there, you click on it. You go to this place, and then you have this model. So you don't need to do anything about this model. What you will have It's yes. So what you will have these four files, and then you just drag this file over the interface, and it will automatically open this model for you. So in other words, go to this link, open this link. You'll have this again, this ATM. If you have it already opened, you don't need to click several times. You just drag the file BPMN, and it will open this file for you. And then, yes, thank you, Vida. Yes, so please go there. Please go there and open this BPMN question1 file. Then basically the two questions are quite simple. They are so how many times task E will be executed and how many times task I will be executed. So those are the two questions. Again, here, question one, how many times E will be executed, so in the center, and how many times I, almost at the end, will be executed. And of course, the practice is such that you test it yourself by playing with the tokens, right? So for Yarko question, like what do you need to understand for participation in die checking experiment? Well, you need to understand like this basic functionality, like how to run the token simulations, how to play the token, how to pose at different elements, and so basically use all of these features in order to try to give the correct answer, right? So, okay, like how many times will be it executed? It will be executed once, right? And you can actually visually see this because there's only one token. Now, then it goes, it splits, and it will be executed 3 times. And so this is super easy. This is more like a training model for you to try. But that would be one of the things that we would like you to see is basically how well can you answer the questions for these types of models. Yes, and yeah. So do you have any question? Did you actually manage to open to this? Or you did not manage, it's one of the process steps.
Yeah, I got it open and I got it right.
Yeah, Billy, you got it right. Was it Billy, right? You just mentioned.
No, it was me, Jarkko.
Ah, Jarkko. Okay, Jarkko. Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah. Is there everyone else who got it? Yeah. So Jarkko, did you manage to also to answer this? Like, I mean, to open the browser, to upload the file, and then get to this stage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Then the next second question. Not the same. And then you have the second question. So, which is, let me read the question again. how many times perform director's review can be executed. So, and you can actually give your answers in chat, maybe, if you that would be quite nice. And just by the way, this symbol, this is a default. We did not go through this, but I think it's not that strictly necessary. But try to play with this Camunda, like with these buttons. So, and then try to count how many times perform director's review can be executed. And then please send your answers in chat. Or if you did not manage this, please also send your question if you need some help how to open this and how to get to the step that we are all in. But for now, like, please give your answers in chat, please. How many times perform director's review? It's question 2, by the way. Yes, that is question 2. Inc directors.bpmn, you upload it to Camunda. Paint says 3 times. Yeah. Okay. Any other other options? Like if you have tested with the tokens. So the question is, okay, how many times can be executed? And maybe Ville, can you please maybe explain the difference between the will be executed and can be executed? In the way
Yes,
that...
yeah, there are now answers are coming in and state once.
No. So okay. So once it 3 times, 3 said once. Any other options? I mean, like, but there's like the only one option left is like twice. So was there anyone in chat who had it twice?
And good specification from Jarkko, once in every instance.
Yeah. So okay. So I see the thing. So let's just like assume that most of you have said once, and one said 3 times. How to approach this type of problem, and the questions, and maybe similar logics also. You have this model, right? You have this model, and the question is, read carefully the question. I mean, like, that's applicable to any exam, but this is not the exam, by the way, but in general, right? So read carefully the question. How many times perform director's review can be executed? So you need to locate perform director's review. Here I can. Okay, so here it should be. So perform director's review, and I'm drawing this in the presentation, can be executed. So you need to locate the task first. Where is this? Right. So you connect it. Now, how many times? How many times can be executed? And executed means that like how many times a token will go from here. So, and you need to understand like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right. So, but how you can do this? You can understand this by counting the number, which is usually in this spot, right? And in the bottom left of the process task. So let's actually try this in here. So perform director's review. So we are interested in this, how many times it can be executed. So it not will have to be executed or must be executed, can in principle. And then you test. So the first one, and maybe you have to also, by the way, test several times to test for several process instances, right? So it's maybe not only once. Let's go again. Just skip it. Here, so the token goes, and for instance, in here you activate 2 paths out of 3. It goes here, right? So then it goes. So once. No? So for the first process instance, we found once. So at least it can be executed once. In this, and here can be executed. By the way, the wording is not precise, fully precise. I should have said can be executed in the same process instance. Which is basically to say that you may have almost infinite amount of these process instances. So by specifying in the same instance, which is usually the case in the experiment, by the way, it specifies that no, not this situation where you can have like million instances, but in the same instance. So in the first instance, we saw that it's only once executed. Second, let's see for the second case. And then you need to decide, and that's partially up to you, right? So we give some recommendations, but it's also part to you. How many times does it have to be executed? And I'm just going to pause it here. Again, it's also once. Let's go for below path. So again, it goes there, it goes, right? Once. In here, goes. Yeah, once. And let's just say also the upper path. But you see the logic that it can be executed in all of the cases. It can be executed only once, right? So Valtteri, Aretti, Mika, Jarko, kudos to you. You have this, like in this like movies, like in Hong Kong or something, like they say like the pupil has surpassed his master, right? So in this case, you have surpassed Penty because you answered correctly and your master did not. But it's not up to Penty, but it's just a joke. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. So it was indeed executed once. So good students. Yeah, thank you. Yes. And so like then you have the third model. And the question is, if you must prepare the cookies and the mini quiches in the same instance, how many times do you serve the snack? And I will copy it as a question here. So sheet 3. If you must prepare the cookies and mini quiches, how many times do you serve snack in the same instance? In the same instance. And then, of course, again, you open the folder, drag it, and then you have it. Go to the token simulation in the upper left corner, and then So arity says once. Okay, Siri once. Yeah, okay. So I think this one is pretty simple. So those just to highlight. So I think you understand the tokens. Indeed, it can be executed only once, and actually I don't think you need even the token for this. But honestly, that's my take, as you want. But I think that in well, it's not maybe so visible for like without tokens if you do not know like how this works. But now you all know that basically after inclusive gateway there will be only one outgoing token. Indeed, you're right. But then, and that's maybe for Jarko's question. Now you have the serious business, right? Now you have the serious business of this monstrosity. And now you have to answer this like several questions, right? So in the first question, please upload the fourth question. So and then you have the question of, I'm gonna draw for you. So how can G be executed after D? G, let's start with the first question, not to get too much into this, but basically how can G be executed after D? That's also going to just, I acknowledge the difficulty spike, right? As they say, so the first three were super simple, and now we have this model. That's precisely the point. So that you can all of a sudden see, okay, like for simple models, yeah, I can answer it myself basically. But now you have like more realistic models, okay, like they're abstract, but in real life, let's say processes, of course, you have 40, 50, even more complex than this, maybe even 100 models like this. The question for you is basically, yeah, like you need to understand certain scenarios about this model. So please open this again, like this model, this final model in the modeler. So you open it. And then the question is, can G, like this G, be executed? Let me see, after D. Here's like the two questions. So yes, no, and I don't know. And of course, in the experiment, you also have similar, like, by the way, for Jarka's point, I hope this answers for you. So about what do you need to know? So while people answer in chat, of course, please continue. But the question for you, Jarko, like what kind of questions? I mean, similar questions, and then you have to answer them by tokens. So that what would be necessary for you to try. So we give you the training basically like before this experiment, and then there's no right or wrong like for your grade or anything, but for your participation, as long as you participate and try to solve these types of questions. Yeah, so that's the participation experiment on your part. Yes. Okay, so 3 people say no, and let's go actually test it. So let's go test it. So can G be executed after D? Yeah. So and then you need to open this model, and no matter how complex this is, you need to find a way to get to this place. So right. So and then you have this. Okay. So first, but this. And then yeah, and then of course there's no like, and that's why we even research in the first place, because we frankly do not know like precisely like how to run this, like what kind of specific guidelines, because it's a bit like as they say art, and science. So the art part is that like there's so many ways that you can test it. But let's just say you go here and you try several scenarios. So in all the different scenarios, they can be, well, I mean, like they can be irrelevant. So I can ignore this path, this loop. I can ignore this. So it goes here, and indeed, it cannot be executed. So Areti, Laura, and Tommy, thank you for your answers. So you're right. Indeed, G cannot be executed because there is a deadlock, right? So that's what I mentioned before. So like if you have this model, you do not have synchronization of tokens. And then without tokens, very difficult to realize, to test this, to find it. Okay. Ville, can you just clarify? So how many minutes do we have left?
3 minutes. And
3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we could also have a 30 seconds for possible questions, but
yes,
3
please.
minutes.
Yeah, so for me, like, I guess that's what I wanted to say. You, of course, have this presentation also with 3 more questions. You can practice it on your own, right, if you want. Especially the 3rd and the 4th. So practice those questions just to understand how it works. Yes, and I can later send to you the correct answers to this, right? But other than this, do you still have any questions? That's my question to you. Like Jarko, did you get your answer to your question? Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, so I mean, just to briefly recap. So today we have been through, let me just open this PowerPoint. So today we have been through this metaphor of GPS, right? So the process model is GPS, and then the path, the token, right? So I will share also the screen, the PowerPoint with you. Then we have shown to you how to animate the gateways, right? And how to work with the Camunda, a little bit of practice session. And also we try to answer a bit of those questions. And for your experiments, so really try to understand how to work with the Camunda. And how would you answer those questions on your own? Like you can practice. And later I will share with you the correct answers. Right? Yes, I mean, you may ask maybe like one or more 2 questions, or Ville, you can ask the question in their name. Maybe first, because you know the students, and like for the Finnish culture, of course, like without Koskenkorva, it's so difficult to get to the depths of conversation. But yeah, joking. Please.
Yes, thank you very much, Ilya.
Yeah.
Great lecture. I will stop recording now. So